My name's Terry, and I'd like to welcome you to Freaky Fridays. This is the segment of my channel where we do discussions about the paranormal activity in Gettysburg and things that have happened to me as a guide in Gettysburg. I hope you'll find it interesting. A little bit about my background. I grew up in the Pittsburgh area of Pennsylvania. From early on in my life, I realized that I had some qualities of a sensitive. Things like being able to tell who was on the other end of a phone call or what song would come on the radio. I knew I had this special gift, but I didn't know how to control it, and I still don't. However, I just took it for granted that everybody was like that and just went on with my life. As an adult, I became interested in things paranormal, psychics, hypnotic regression, that kind of thing, and I studied up on it a lot. I had a hypnotic regression in Pittsburgh in the 90s, and it was quite a revelation to me. Around the same time as my regression, I traveled to Gettysburg for the first time. I was hooked. I absolutely loved being here, and without a doubt knew that I would live here someday. The problem was I had to fight with myself over how I could work that out. I had a job as a realtor, so that was not a problem because I could take my real estate license and move to any place in the state that I wanted, as long as the real estate would have me. I could transfer my license very easily. So that was one big thing crossed off of my list. Another thing was I had a house to sell, and that was going to be an obstacle. So I really didn't know what to do, what kind of decision to make about moving. It took months, but I kept coming to Gettysburg, and the more that I came here, the more I felt attracted to it. It was as if I belonged here, and there was some deep connection that wouldn't let my mind be free from it. I decided to pray about it. I am a spiritual person, and I do talk to God about a lot of things. So I said to God, please, I need some help. I keep convincing myself that I should move and turning around and taking it back again. I don't know what to do here. Please, God, hit me over the head with something so you get my attention. Let me know your plan for me and everything will work out. I was positive of that. About 3 weeks went by after I had my conversation with God. And one day I went to the grocery store and I took one of those 3-pound coffee cans full of coins because I wanted to redeem them in the coin star machine. I'm sure you all know what those are. You put your money in the machine and you get a receipt, and then you get paid for whatever coins you have. Well, I knew I had a good bit of money in the can, but I didn't know anything else about what coins were in there. So I'm running my coins through the till, and it's adding up nicely, and I thought, boy, this is great. I'll have some extra spending money. And I got my receipt, and it came out to a nice total. And before I left the machine, I checked in the chute at the bottom where the foreign coins kick out and the bent coins, that kind of thing, and reached my hand in and opened my hand. Inside of my palm was an 1863 Indian head penny, of all things in this world. And I knew that every dream I ever had just come true, because that was my answer from God. That little penny in my palm. And I knew right away what I had to do. Within a few days, I had my home up for sale. And things just fell into place after that. My home sold within 2 weeks, which is amazing for that time because real estate was getting very tight. And before I knew it, I was on my way to Gettysburg. I had rented an apartment and made the drive with my kitty Maggie and myself. It's about a 3.5 hour drive from where I lived to downtown Gettysburg. And we made the trip, and I've never looked back since then. So many things have happened here to me, and I want to be able to tell them to you, because I'm sure there are a lot of people like me out there who have had these kind of experiences and don't know what to do with them. No, sometimes people just don't believe you, and they say that you're crazy, and where do you get this stuff from, and you must be making it up. But the people who have had this happen to them, they know what I'm talking about, because it is very real. So I want to tell you about my experiences once I moved to Gettysburg. And here's where it gets interesting. I signed on with a local realty, and I was working there, and I just couldn't get enough Gettysburg at that point. And I know I must have annoyed people in my office, because all I would talk about was Gettysburg history and the paranormal. And you know what? Nobody wanted to hear me. It was like they avoided me because I was this weird chick from Pittsburgh, and I was nuts. But that's okay. At the time I moved there, the real estate market was getting very bad, and they had what they call the predatory lenders. And because of that, a lot of people were defaulting on their mortgages, and the whole real estate business was just really bad at the time. And I wasn't getting any sales. And when you're in real estate, you work on commission, so you need those sales and listings. So I decided I would try and get a part-time job. But believe me, the job market is not very big in Gettysburg. Most of the jobs that they have are dealing with the tourism industry. And, there's things like cleaning hotels and anything like that is temporary. It's usually summer work. And one day I was reading the Gettysburg Times, and I saw this ad in there for a ghost tour guide. Now believe me, I never in this world thought I could be a ghost tour guide. I didn't care to be in front of people. I just wasn't one of those kind of bubbly people that, are all that and can, talk about anything. That wasn't me. But I knew I needed a job, so I met with Joe and his wife, and they handed me a few books that Joe had written. I wasn't even sure that I believed in the paranormal and ghost stories and things like that. I wasn't sure about anything other than the fact that I should be in Gettysburg. Joe told me to read these books and come back for an interview, and I did 2 weeks later. They hired me on the spot, and I was Gettysburg's newest ghost tour guide. And believe it or not, I just fell into it. It just came to me just so naturally, and I had a blast doing it. I mean, I met people from all over the country, sometimes from places like Japan and Australia, and they were so into these ghost tours. And they like hung on every word I said, which made it wonderful for me, because it just gave me the boost I needed to be a good guide. And I put my heart and soul into it, and I learned about the history behind some of these ghost tours, and that made it even more interesting. I worked out of the Jenny Wade house, and I can tell you that that place is probably the most haunted place in all of Gettysburg. And there are many people that would back that up. People that have been on my tours and have, the sightings on their cameras and the audio, and it was wonderful. You know, all I had to do was tell them the stories, and they recorded it for me, and I could see the proof positive that there were paranormal events going on here. I hope some of you folks out there will find what I have to say interesting, and you've had the feelings that paranormal people have visited you, and you've had experience with ghosts and things like that, and you don't think it's a bunch of bunk, because I don't. If you stay and watch my channel, every Friday I'll have a special story for you about things that have happened to me. And I am very interested in hearing what happened to you in your lifetimes and with maybe some of your family who have departed. Feel free to ask me questions, and please let me ask you questions too. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much for watching my video. See you next Friday on Freaky Fridays. Bye now.